So now we talk about limitations with chatbots. As Okay, I didn't. I guess I didn't. I did kind of mention it earlier, but not as blunt as this. They cannot replace humans. Like I said earlier, 50 users. Let's take for example, we have 50 customer agents. We are talking about reducing the load and not them, because there are at times when chatbot cannot answer all the queries, so it requires a human, at the back end to answer the queries. Second point is, uh, it cannot provide that comfort to the user. Let's take for example, if I want to have a call with a person over a phone, it does not provide that smoothness, that the kind of gratitude, the kind of softness, calmness that comes in the voice interaction. It cannot give that as of now. And yeah, then we have AI is still not that accessible. Like I said in the previous slide, it's still, people are still working on it. The greatest minds are still working on it to improve it, to make it more user friendly, developer friendly, to help developers easily start using and working on AI platforms, to make better use of it, to work with it to create great solutions. The third point is the most important point, and this is this is very much blunt. I should say, as intelligent a chatbot is as intelligent as the capacity of the developer or programmer who created it. Because the chatbots that we develop right now are not intelligent. They do not learn on their own. We train them. They are prone to errors. They are limited to the knowledge that we have given them. They cannot do more than that. That is where AI comes into picture, where you train it with a hell lot of data. You create a model that understands what you're teaching it. That in time, when running through all that data, creates an understanding for itself, and shall be able to answer user queries, right? But at this moment that is not there, or at least I'm gonna say 50% that it's not there, 50% that it's there, or 50% it's reached up to that 100% mark. There is a lot of grounds to cover for them. But as of now, the way, let's take for example dialog flow is there, it's restrictive. Okay, it is restrictive. uh, how much ever the knowledge I have, I create the chatbot based on that. If so, let's take for example, if a user is coming and asking an irrelevant query to that specific chatbot, it's obviously not going to answer. I cannot create a chatbot, or at this point, I don't want to create a chatbot that can answer every query. I'm not creating a Google chatbot, right? I'm creating a normal chatbot that can answer my let's take for example a specific business related queries, or a specific you know corporate based query. It does not have to answer every question that is out there in the user's mind, right? So that is one. Then we have grounds up. So the third point also is restrictive based on the use case. It is not just the developer or the programmer, it is also the use case that it has been restricted to. Okay. Then, so as I was talking about not accessible, working with TensorFlow, it does take a lot of time to work with a TensorFlow, understand it, create a model, train with a lot of data. It's going to take ages. You need to understand how the internal systems work even to start with such a thing, right? So it's going to take a hell lot of time to understand, gain knowledge of the end-to-end working, and creating your own chatbot. Then we have use cases. People do not understand why chatbots are necessary. They use it to create such chatbots? I mean, wow. I, I just don't even have an answer for this. But yeah, I mean, people can still enjoy it. I just don't know why. Why a bot, that joke bot? Shit, it's crazy. Okay, continuing. So Dialogflow, it man, this thing saved the day when it came out, and I'm happy that they're still coming out with a lot of interesting features. Uh, yeah. So what does Dialogflow do? First thing that it does is, for me, it saves time for developers. It saves time. You don't have to sit and think through a lot of things, work on TensorFlow to create a chatbot. You can come over here, think of use case, plan out the whole thing, and create a chatbot, right? It's simple for developers or non-developers as well as to work on a platform like this. They have kept it that simple. You just need to learn it a little, and then you can work with it on your own. The first thing is design flow between chatbot and the user. We can design how a user is going to interact with the chatbot and what the chatbot must say to the user. And we learned that we create that conversation flows over here. So statements, and we have conditional branching, wherein you move from one conversation or one part of the conversation to the next, right? I'll be explaining it to you probably in the demos, or the working of the chatbots, or when I'm creating a chatbot for you. So in one or two other videos, I'll explain the conditional branching in a much better way, right? Then we have provide pre-built bots. They provide pre-built bots that you don't have to sit and create again. They have generalized a list. Let's take for example, they have bots for restaurants, they have bots for pizza bookings, they have bots for you know managing applications, to dos, reminders, and things like that. They have a whole bunch of uh, you know bots that have already been built. Then they have a uh, you know training made easy, but it is time consuming. So always remember, any kind of AI machine learning kind of application that you or anybody is developing, it goes in terabytes, right? You have to sit through data sets to train the model, to understand it, you know to make it better basically. So in this case, in Dialogflow's case, we don't exactly need terabytes of data, but you do need enough data for the chatbot to be smarter than it is right now, right? But it takes time and patience. That's it. So I'll be showing you during in this video itself. I'll give you I'll just scroll through the Dialogflow's platform, right? Time saver, as I mentioned earlier, it saves a lot of time for developers like us, to instead of sitting and creating an application from scratch, we just use the tool. And then we have integrated testing tool, wherein we can test inside the Dialogflow's platform how the responses are coming in, where we are going wrong, analyzing the outputs basically. Then we have easy integration with widely used platforms. Dialogflow supports a handful of platforms which are very famous and which are being widely used at this moment, right? Okay, now let me just show you the Dialogflow platform itself, right? Wherein you can look at the platform and understand, what I'm talking about. Let's go here. Go to my bad. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So this is the testing place, right? We test over here. Let's take, I will just show you a demo. So you see what the user has typed, what the chatbot responded, diagnostic information. You basically check the response, right? Then we have the training section, wherein whatever the user types is being stored, and you can choose which how to train it. You can choose the intent and stuff like that. I'll explain you what are intents in the next videos. And then pre-built agents that I was just talking about. So you can see, right, agent name, alarm, banking, card, coffee shops, currency converter, date, event search. So let's take for example, what does it do? What kind of questions does it answer? What's playing at the movie today, right? So it goes to the backend queries and says a response. Book tickets. How can I kill time nearby? Where to go for a date and things like that, right? You just have to click on import and the the whole agent is being copied and you can start working on it. You have flight, food delivery, formats, language settings and things like that. So you, like I said, there are a lot of predefined templates that you can use and start working on any time that you feel fit. And then the last thing we have is the integrations. In the integrations, you can see these well-known platforms: Alexa, Telegram, Twilio. We have Facebook Messenger, Slack, Viber, and Dialogflow have recently introduced the Dialogflow phone gateway, wherein customers can directly dial a number and interact with the chatbot. So the same set of intents, you just create the conversational flow over here, and when a customer gives a phone call, this chat conversation gets started, and I start speaking to the customer directly. So that's all about Dialogflow. I just thought I'll give you a brief on Dialogflow. Probably in the next video I can explain what each of these entities, what are what are these, right, and what are the features that Dialogflow offers. Or probably, just to save time, I'll just give you links from the Dialogflow's YouTube channel itself, wherein you can go and understand. Probably they are the better people to explain what that tool is entirely about, right? So let's come over here. Coming back to the presentation, right? So over here, now we are talking about the workflow that the chatbot, how the chatbot is working in Dialogflow, right? So you can see that the user has query, the user asks a query, right? Then the query reaches Dialogflow, it matches an intent. This intent is then goes to the backend code, that is the fulfillment section. In the fulfillment, I would have linked it to APIs or databases, right? So I create responses in the code section, and then I send out the response to the user. The user does some action. The users. So I perform some action, give the output to the user through voice, text, cards, buttons, any UI kind of interface, right? The user gets it, and he's happy with the response, right? So this is the workflow wherein the user is asking questions to the chatbot receives the query is then matched with an intent. The intent goes to the backend and gets creates itself a response based on the parameters, and the output is sent back to the user at the end. So that's about it. uh, in the next slides we'll be talking about dialog flow a bit, and then I'll start showing you a demo, or we'll create a demo uh, and work with a basic chatbot, right? So if you guys liked the video, if you have any queries related to chatbots, if you want me to improve my video content, please let me know. As I recently started with it again, I just want to know your views on the presentation or the video that I just created, right? I'll be waiting for your responses. Thank you guys, have a nice day, bye.